Good evening, everybody. I would like to call the August 14th Board of Trustees of Indian Head Park meeting to order. Could we please have a roll call, please, for the evening?
Trustee Iannacco. Here. Trustee Saldana.
Here.
Trustee Eck.
Here.
Trustee Donnersberger.
Here.
Trustee Svetka. Trustee Gazis.
Here.
President Amy Jo Wittenberg.
Here. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to just spend a couple minutes discussing a couple items. Plainfield Road redesign update. The Cook County Department of Highways and Transportation hosted a public information open house, number 2, on August 4th, 2025, from 5:30 to 7 at the Highlands Elementary School in LaGrange. The meeting included a presentation reviewing the study background, public outreach, existing conditions, the proposed improvements, and next steps. As you may know, this project extends from the County Line Road all the way to East Avenue for Plainfield Road. Over 110 members of the public attended the meeting. Municipal representatives from Cook County, City of Countryside, Village of Burr Ridge, Township of Lyons, Village of Indian Head Park, and the Village of LaGrange were present. Pleasant View Fire Protection District, as well as the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago. If you go to the improveplainfieldroad.org website, you can see the video that they presented at the meeting. There were questions about that. Some people did not see the video that they produced about the project. So it gives you all of the project information, and summary is on the improveplainfieldroad.org. The Cook County Department of Transportation is still open and receiving comments for the Plainfield Road project. Some people thought it was just comments at the meeting. So if you have comments, they are going to be accepted through August 20th. You can either email them to improveplainfieldroad.org, or you can mail them at the Cook County Department of Transportation and Highways, 69 West Washington, 24th floor, Chicago, Illinois, to Sanjay Joshi, excuse me. Just want to remind everybody that we have a congregate meal, the 28th at Village Hall. It's lunch and learn, train your brain, if you're interested in joining us and training your brain, and it is full. So we're happy to hear that. Maybe next time you have to email to register. It's the third Thursday of every month. Due to elevated levels of West Nile virus, adult mosquito control operations are planned for our village tonight, south of I-55 in Indian Head Park. They will be spraying from the hours of 8 o'clock p.m. through midnight. So that will be this evening, south of I-55. I'd like to take a moment to thank everybody. We had our 3rd annual Indian Head Park National Night Out. I want to thank the police department, chief and all his crew, Officer Rob Verber, Indian Head Park Public Works, the administration staff, our community volunteers, all of the business partners, our community nonprofit organizations, all of the law enforcement partners that came to participate, and all of the Touch a Truck participants. I'm sure I've missed some, but we really appreciate everybody's volunteer spirit, and it was a wonderful evening, and the weather actually was great as well. So thank you to all of our volunteers for that. Also, there's a short video that we just wanted to play this evening for just about a minute. We had some LT Lyons Township TV students produce this. Michael Walsh did the shooting, and a video edited by Ethan Muir, both from the LTH class of 2025. Tonight is our 3rd annual Indian Head Park National Night Out. We just really enjoy getting everybody together and having special events. We thank everybody for participating, as well as Cook County and the state police for coming and helping us enjoy the night.
I'm Officer Rob Verber with the Indian Head Park Police Department. I'm our Community Relations, Crime Prevention, and Elderly Service Officer. This is our third annual National Night Out. It's a great, fantastic opportunity to get our village government, as well as our police department, our business partners, and the community, the most important part of that, our residents, having that night out against crime.
So tonight we have a reptile show, we have a magician, we also have free ice cream and popcorn. Over here near the Acacia Clubhouse, we also have a touch-a-truck display. So we have several people in town that have businesses in the logistics and trucking industry that are able to bring their trucks.
So National Night Out is kind of the icing on the cake of that collaboration between the village, our residents, and our business community. Our DJ, our ice cream vendors, our taco truck, our Jumpy House, and our fantastic vendors that are providing that. We want to have that unity, that comfortable feeling that permeates throughout our community.
This Saturday, we have a movie night in Black Hawk Park. We will also have a cookout with hot dogs, grilled hot dogs, sides, popcorn, and cotton candy, and all sorts of other treats. The movie is going to be Wonka. So that will start at 7 o'clock, and the movie will play at dusk. So please come out and enjoy it. It's supposed to be a nice evening, and enjoy the evening Saturday at 7 o'clock. Thank you. All right, moving along to our consent agenda, can I have a motion for the consent agenda, please?
I'd like to take item A and B and discuss those separately. Would that come after the motion or before? Okay, after the motion.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All righty, any questions on consent agenda items? Can we entertain your questions now? Is that good?
Yeah, I'd like to change A and B to be separately discussed. Can we start that now?
Should we pull that out or just discuss them now?
If he's asking, if the nature of the conversation is more appropriate for separate items, then if that's the request, then it should be done.
Separate items.
Okay. All righty, any other questions on the other item in the consent agenda? Can we have a financial report, please, Treasurer?
Financial report for the month ending July of 2025. Cash on hand at June 30th, 2025 was $3,556,159.46. Our payments for July of 2025 were $625,350.49. Our total revenues for July of 2025 were $230,276.30. Our ending bank balance at July 31st, 2025 was $3,161,085.27.
Thank you. Any questions on that? Hearing none, can we please, yes,
I'd
Eileen? Sure.
like to make a comment. The minutes of the last meeting, our minutes seem to be getting longer and longer, and not tonight because these appear to be really good minutes, but I'm wondering if our attorney can advise us on how the minutes should be prepared, if we need to include this much in them, or can we do something much shorter?
Madam President, at this time, I think the minutes were asked to be pulled off
Discussed
the
separately.
consent agenda. So
We have to
I can
approve.
address that question when that item's on the agenda.
Thank you.
So we're going to pull it off the consent agenda and move it on to the to new business, and then we'll be able to talk about that. I think Trustee Eck has some other questions as well. So yes? You good? So seeing that we're going to remove A and B from the consent agenda, can we please approve item C that's on the consent agenda, please? Roll call vote? The motions. Do we have to revise the motion, though, to include only item C?
I think you've already done that.
Okay.
Trustee Iannaco,
Aye.
Trustee Saldana,
Aye.
Trustee Eck,
Aye.
Trustee Donnersberger,
Aye.
Trustee Gazis.
Aye.
5-0, the motion carries.
Thank you. If we would like to do the audit first before we entertain your two questions for A and B, Charlie, because the auditor's waiting online to present.
A dollar item here, okay.
Is that okay?
Sure.
We're going to do the audit, and
Sure.
then okay.
Yeah.
So we'll go to new business, please. Item A, can I have a motion, please?
I move to approve Resolution 2025-23, which accepts the FY 2024 audit report.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Anthony. Thank you, Christina and Anthony. Gavin? We have our audit team, one of our audit teams presenting this evening from remotely, so we are using a device up here on the table to do that, and she is now on the screen from LNA. Thank you.
Can you hear us, Destiny? Can you hear us?
Oh.
We're on mute.
Can you hear us, Destiny?
She's in the bottom right. We're on mute.
She's on the screen out there.
Destiny?
Hello.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Thank you.
Great. Hello, everybody. My name is Jocelyn Poor. I'm one of the audit managers at Lauterbach and Eamon, and I will be presenting the required pieces of communication for the fiscal year ended 4/30/24 audit. I'm going to start off by thanking the board for allowing me to present this audit tonight, especially remotely. So I appreciate all the efforts that went into getting this done. I also want to thank the staff that was involved during the process of the audit. We understand everybody has their own job responsibilities, and having auditors on site is not the most pleasant experience. So we appreciate all the efforts that went into getting this audit done. The first piece I would like to talk about is the SAS 114 letter, the primary purpose of which is to convey whether or not we had any difficulties or disagreements with management over the course of the audit. And I'm happy to report that no such difficulties or disagreements were encountered, and that's exactly what can be found in the body of the letter. The next piece I would like to go over is the thick bound report itself. I would like to point out a couple of pages. I will keep this brief and short, but if anybody has any questions, please feel free to stop me at any time. Pages 1 through 3 talk about the independent auditor's report itself, which describes the management's responsibility, which is the preparation and fair presentation of the financial statements. Our responsibility as an audit firm is to generate an opinion on those financial statements, and I am happy to report that we have issued an unmodified opinion, which is the cleanest form of opinion and highest level of assurance that we can issue. In other words, the financial statements are free from material misstatement, and there's sound internal control over financial reporting. Next couple of pages is the management's discussion and analysis, or we like to call it MD&A. It's a great narrative summary of the whole bound report itself. We understand the financial statements are very difficult to comprehend because there's a lot of numbers thrown. So this section breaks things down into words, charts, and graphs. I highly encourage the board to read it at their own leisure. And then if you have any questions, even after tonight, please feel free to reach out and we'll be happy to address those. Pages 26 through 27, I will just give you a brief overview of the fund level income statement. First, governmental funds. General fund had an operating income of about $398,000 with an ending fund balance of $2.2 million. Motor fuel tax fund at an operating income of about $72,000 with an ending fund balance of approximately $800,000. Capital Improvement Fund did have an operating deficit of about $247,000 with an ending fund balance of negative $849,000. Non-major funds, you can find the breakdown of them on page 78, but they overall had a positive ending fund balance of about $306,000. Page 32 talks about the proprietary fund or the water and sewer fund, which had an operating income of about $307,000 with a positive ending fund balance of $3.68 million. Any questions on these numbers? None? Okay. After that, you'll find notes to the financial statements where you will see anything from investments that the village has, leases that the village has been into, capital asset schedules, long-term debt, as well as IMRF and other defined pension benefit plan information. Lastly, in the required supplementary information or the RSI, you will see the contribution tables, budget to actuary comparison tables by fund as well. Any questions on the report as a whole or any particular questions on any of the numbers that stick out?
On page 44, we're talking about two leases, the American Tower lease and Castle lease. Their payments are listed at 35, I'm rounding, 3,500 and 2,400, total 5,900, almost 6,000 a month. That totals on an annual basis a little over $70,000, but yet the report is saying the village recognized $43,368 in lease revenue. Gavin, I think you addressed some of this with me, and but I still don't understand the difference. Someone said it was interest. What's the nature? Why do we have the difference here? We list payments of $59.32 a month, total about a little over $70,000, but yet we're only saying lease revenue of $43,000.
So the way GASB 87 standard requires us to report leases going forward is we have to split out the lease revenue with the interest. I'll be happy to share our calculators that we use to come up with the difference between the principal and the interest portion. So we only include or disclose the principal portion of the revenue that was received for the year. I'd be happy to send that over to Gavin and then he can forward that to you. And if you have any further questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Well, and doesn't the two columns equal the number? Principal plus interest equals the total. Trustee Eck, add the two numbers.
Oh, the 44,434 and the 26.
Yes, they're splitting it out between principal and interest. So she'll give you the ratio, and then you can take a look at it.
And the interest comes from what? The interest comes from what? These aren't bonds.
It's just the incremental borrowing
that we
rate
have.
that we use to calculate the interest portion. We calculate the present value of, like when the lease was implemented, calculate the present value of future receipts, and then split that between the principal and interest based on the frequency of the payments received.
I think they're, yeah.
And the interest rates you use for that calculation are those that are printed above there, the 4% and the 3%?
I think it's showing you the entire lease through 2059, and it's trying to show you the interest and principal from that lease for the years now, this year, as well as the years that are coming. So it's the way that GASB has them create the report. So those should add up, 2025 should add up to what the total is.
But doesn't the village receive the total of $59.32 a month? Which is the sum of the $35.13 and the $24.19?
Yes.
So if we receive that and we don't have any debt, we're saying that accounting standards indicate that that has to be split out?
That's what the accountant's saying, yes. There's a rule in GASB, they're saying, and they'll send that to you if you'd like to read it. That's what she said.
Yeah, okay,
Is that okay with you?
sure.
Okay, so could you please send that along to us, please, so Gavin can get that to the trustees?
Yes, I will get that sent
Great.
over, and if, again, you want to, like, schedule a call with us, we'll be happy to discuss that further.
Thank
Is that-
you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Last piece I want to go over is the management letter, the purpose of which is to convey any internal control recommendations that we have, best practices that we see in the industry or upcoming GASB standards. No current recommendations, but updates to the from prior audits. Fund balance policy.
I just want them to all know that that's the separate document that was stapled, so you can follow along. Thanks.
Thank you. Fund balance policy, it was implemented, so we always have it for 2 years. 1 year, we issue the comment. The other one, if you look at the response at the bottom, it says, will not be repeated in the future, so it will come off next year. Fund over budget will also be removed. The only one I would look into is the capital improvements fund, which has a deficit fund balance. And then capital asset records, which Gavin and I have chatted about, that we recommend doing, going through a capital asset appraisal in the upcoming years, so that we can get the records on the books. And then just a couple upcoming GASB standards, 100 through 103. We'll work with the village over the next couple of years to implement whatever is applicable to the village. Any questions on that or overall?
No questions? All right, I don't think we have any questions here.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jocelyn.
Thank you.
All right, hearing that there are no other questions, I think we need a roll call vote to accept the audit report, correct? Clerk?
You want a motion for that?
Yes, I think we have a motion.
We did.
We have
Oh,
a-
okay.
Trustee Iannaco,
Aye.
Trustee Saldana,
Aye.
Trustee Eck,
Aye.
Trustee Donnersberger,
Aye.
Trustee Gazus.
Aye.
5-0, motion carries.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, and I just want to let you know that we have already started the work on the FY 2025 audit, and we will proceed with that, and we're planning to have that to present to you by December or January board meeting.
Thank you. Seeing that Trustee Eck requested to have items B and C discussed in new business, could we maybe go to item B, which is the approval of payables, or excuse me, A and B, excuse me, approval of regular meeting minutes?
Yeah, I'd like to talk about, do you want a motion, or?
Can we have a motion, please, to discuss,
Yeah, move
to approve?
to approve regular meeting minutes of July 10th.
Second? Second? Tony, or Anthony, excuse me? So we have a first and second on that? All righty. What would you
Yeah.
like to discuss?
Like Eileen was starting to say, the minutes that we have in this book are 21 pages long. It's almost a verbatim listing of what we covered in our July meeting. My sense is that many meetings ought to be summaries showing the decisions that the village has made, and not a verbatim listing of all of the discussions. We have that on video, and if somebody wants to listen to all of the discussion that took place, then they can go in and listen to the video to do that. But I think that if we have a minutes, 5, 7, 10 pages at the maximum, that's certainly better than 21 pages. And that's more than what I think that we should be doing for our minutes.
I have a comment. So you would like to have a summary of what happened in the meeting, so just a listing, for example, of title of the issue and what happened and quickly in the discussion and then the motion and how it went?
Certainly that, but it could be some slightly more discussion, but 21 pages to me is, again, that's a verbatim listing of everything that we went through, and I think a shorter version of that can be developed.
So, Gavin, how many pages is the bills and invoices and revenue and expenditure report and all of the detail of that, if you were to put it together?
He's counting them.
Count every single invoice and every single financial report that is possible that we will have to read or put in the agenda, should it be put in the agenda.
I'm sorry, I'm missing what you're trying, the point you're trying to make.
The point I'm trying to make is that you would not have so much complaint about how the lengthy of the minutes, and then absolutely complain about not having any detail on the bills.
Oh, my goodness.
So,
You
Can
didn't,
I
you
make
didn't
a
mean the pages in the actual packet, which would be about 30, but you meant individual.
Yeah, so
Depends
we-
on how many bills we're paying that.
why is it a problem that we have so much detail on the minutes?
I think it's a problem for us as a board. I've been on other boards and have been advised we should not have them this long. And that's why I want to ask council, what's the norm?
The Open Meetings Act requires that public bodies keep written minutes of all their meetings. It provides that a verbatim record is only required for a closed meeting, and that the minutes shall include, but need not be limited to, the date, time, and place of the meeting, the members of the public body recorded as either present or absent, and whether they were physically present, and a summary of all the discussions on the matters proposed. That's the minimum standards, that's what's required by law. Nothing prevents this body or the minutes from being longer than that. Nothing prohibits them from being more detailed. Now, to your question, trustee, what do most public bodies do? Most public bodies would probably err on the side of keeping them shorter and briefer, as opposed to providing the amount of detail that is in the last series of minutes that have come before this body. The question then is, what is the balance, and where does the village board want to be in terms of the depth and detail of the minutes? Is it preferable to have short summaries and have staff devoting the time to create those short
Yeah,
summaries? Or is it more beneficial and more useful to the public to have longer narrative forms? That's a policy decision the board can make.
I have a question for staff, actually. Thanks, council. Andres, you're in charge of putting these minutes together. When you go verbatim, and I know we're wasting paper and killing trees and whatever, is, from a time perspective, what is having the minutes verbatim versus you summarizing and creating those minutes? What is the time difference from you for a given board meeting, on average, garden variety?
So I'll say that in my 13 years of, well, 10 years I'll say, of doing minutes for meetings every single month in my career, I got it down to about twice as long as the meeting takes to do minutes. The way I'm doing them now, which is using the transcript and then basically Chat GPT that I then go back and double check on, it takes me the exact same amount of time as it takes in the meeting. So it takes half the amount of time for me to do them this way. I'll also say, as I've been diving into the minutes recently for the fences, and Brandon here is also, I've been subjecting poor Brandon here for that as well, that the village board's historical minutes have gone from anywhere from 15 pages to, depending on, 48 pages. generally the longer ones were prior to the Plan Commission becoming the Plan Commission, and a lot of the planning and zoning went to that. However, I just want to point out that there is a variation that in the history of it, they actually longer ago they tended to be more verbatim. In the last 20 to some odd years, they became kind of what I'll say is standard 10, 12, 15-ish pages that you'll see a lot of times. And like I said, now because of the ability of technology to pull the transcript and then write the transcripts, that is much faster for me to do it this way. It'll be much faster for any staff members to do it this way.
Can you edit out, and looking at that, does it allow you to edit out a lot of the verbiage that now is in the minutes that we're looking at today?
So I did edit those minutes considerably. Namely, when I look at the minutes, I'm trying to provide a coherent, I don't want to say narrative because that's not correct, but it's a very easy to follow narrative. So for example, if you look at the fence discussion from the last meeting, there was a lot of back and forth. You don't see that in the current minutes. You see most of it being, in 3 or 4 sections that follows a very linear path. So yes, I can go back and edit those out, but then I'm spending time going back and editing things out, and then I'm making decisions on what should be included and not included in the minutes.
So so Andres, if this works for you, and I think it does, Council, can I ask a question? As trustees, are we allowed to take the minutes and then input them into ChatGPT for them to summarize it for us?
Absolutely.
Any member of the public who's got that document and is able to upload it would be able to do that.
So, Charlie, actually, this is a very simple thing, I can help either one of you with this. We leave Andres alone, let him continue to do and be proficient at what he's doing and efficient. If you want them shorter, you could just enter these in ChatGPT and ask for it to actually just bullet point it out for you. It'll give you the exact highlights you're looking for, and if it's still not enough detail, you can ask it for more detail, and it'll pull more detail from his notes. It takes about 3 seconds to do, and I'd be more than happy to sit with either one of you. But I think in terms, let's let Andres do what he does best, and more detail that it works for him, because it sounds like for you to go back through and make decisions on what should be included and what shouldn't be included takes more time and guess, right?
Yes, because I have to
Okay.
go back and
So that costs more labor time where he could be using his time more efficiently elsewhere. We can throw this into ChatGPT. I mean, unfortunately, this is what I do, because I don't, to read all of it, but it'll break it all down for you. It'll give you in the bullet points in exactly what you're looking for, and it takes absolute seconds to do.
I have
I could
another
even do
question
it
of
and send it
council.
to you.
Well,
And would we make that the official minutes of the board?
No, we can't do that. This would just be to make it easier for you to, you to read through. So the official minutes still come from Andres. He does what he does. But for him to change them to the way you want it to do, it's gonna take him longer, and he's not gonna be able to do other things that the village needs him to do. So I could show the board how you could just take his notes and put it in ChatGPT and ask what you want it to do, and it'll give you the breakdown versus having him spend more time every week post-meeting.
But before we
Can
go
we do
into the
both?
detail,
I mean, I don't think
Charlie.
we should make him to do both, yeah.
I have another question I just want to get to the heart of the matter. Does this council, do the minutes become an official document?
Yes.
yes.
Okay. And so the more we put in the minutes, the more we're responsible for, right? I mean, the more we're,
Well, with respect to the types of things that you'd be responsible for, you also have to keep in mind a global perspective that the meeting is being streamed, the meeting is being
Right.
recorded. So while it becomes the official record as far as the minutes, any suggestion as far as did something happen or not happen can be proved up in a variety of different ways other than just the minutes. So if we're afraid that we're locking ourselves into a position by being more detailed than is necessary in the minutes, I don't know that that necessarily creates the concern that it might.
and
in the
I'm
past.
not doubting what Andres does isn't totally correct, but when you put minutes together that are as long as this, I have to be assured that you're going through them and making sure that there's nothing out of place, because,
Again, I guess you're making the argument for leaving the minutes as they are verbatim. The minutes are the minutes. And how many times have we gone through and read the minutes that aren't the minutes, and then this was wrong, or this was incorrect, and this was it? If the minutes are the minutes, it's being streamed, we're all here, the minutes are the minutes. Why are we creating more work? Let's just have the minutes be the minutes, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the minutes should be shorter, though. So I understand what you're saying in terms of an abbreviation, but I don't agree that we would have that. Why?
Why should they be shorter?
I've never said.
Argument that they should be
Because we all
shorter.
have to spend the time to review.
No, you
them.
don't. You're at the meeting. The minutes are the minutes. It's being streamed.
Guys,
I don't need to calm
let's-
down. I guess I'm wondering why we're talking about this. The minutes are the minutes. We want to take time from Andres's, to create shorter minutes that aren't the minutes. Why can't the
They're the
minutes be the
minutes if
minutes?
they
This
actively
meeting is
shorten.
being streamed. You're at every meeting, Charlie?
Charlie, did you hear what he said? For him to make them shorter, he now has to do guesswork on, should this be left in, should it be taken out? So now the meetings aren't the minutes. Because now he's guessing on what should be included and what shouldn't be, so now we're.
Sometimes minutes can be as brief as, here's a motion that was put forward, and here's the vote on it. Okay, without any discussion on that.
Use technology to make it as short as you want, and just leave him alone and let him keep doing.
But then they wouldn't be the minutes. ChatGPT is not 100% accurate. The transcript is 100% accurate.
That's what he's not.
When Judge Donnersberger was in court, right, they're shorthand for court
That's-
reporters,
I mean,
right?
I've sat on 3 other boards, and I've never seen minutes
The
this
minutes-
long. Now,
what?
maybe let me finish. Maybe the difference is here that we're streaming it and that we have it on video, and so there are other ways to find out whatever happened at the meetings. But I think the reason we kept it short before was to make sure that the official document, I don't know how to put it in legal terms, but we had to protect ourselves. Well, as the council just pointed out, anybody can get it any other way. And if this is the easiest way for you to do it, fine. It just seems like a hell of a lot of work.
So
So
just-
you just actually verbatim, whatever was said here is transcribed, and that's what's in the minutes.
Yes, I go to the, I was actually trying this right now, but it doesn't actually work until the meeting's over. I go to YouTube, I get the auto-generated transcript, which isn't 100% accurate. I put it into ChatGPT as a prompt. It cleans it up. However, then I have to review it, which then I do review it, and sometimes it attributes things to different people who I know weren't there. So I'll listen to the meeting as it goes along, as I'm reading along with it, and then those are the minutes that get kicked out. And then I review it, Gavin reviews it, I send it all to you we try to send it to you within a week so that you can all review it. And then, like I said, if there's anything that needs to be changed, if there's things, like I've caught things that haven't been accurate before, I'm like, that's not correct. Gavin's caught things before that haven't been correct on it. But because the transcript, and then with the AI ability to clean it up, and because it has a memory function in the AI, it's very kind of scary for me because when I put the YouTube link in there, it can actually reference the YouTube link, and sometimes it picks out, like I've had it before pick out you started speaking and there was no reference to you before, and it was very eerie for me. So it is very accurate.
Did you read in the paper, I think it was today, yesterday, within the last few days, there was an attorney, gosh, I'm trying to remember who was fired from something, a job or something,
There
in
have been-
court because she submitted a brief that quoted, did you hear about that, Counsel? She submitted a brief that was quoted,
there
that
have
didn't
been-
exist,
there have
and she
been-
had gotten it from AI.
I have a friend who is a doctorate in something. I don't remember exactly. It's some very science, and he uses LLMs, ChatGPT, other AIs for these types of things. And he said something unique happened to him last week, where ChatGPT hallucinated an article that he read himself, that he wrote himself. It didn't exist. So that is a concern that we have. However, the way I'm using ChatGPT is very constrained in the fact that I'm just having it clean it up. Now, this is not a verbatim transcript. If I wanted it to be a verbatim transcript, it would actually make my life a little bit easier, but I refined the prompt. So it is fat, and I do go back and I look at it, and I can read about as fast as the meeting goes, and I can check to see when they do things, and sometimes I pause it.
I guess I don't see why we don't use the verbatim. And then, we're at the meeting, why not? Why not just have the minutes be the minutes?
So the reason...
Because that leaves nothing to interpretation, truly.
the reason I would say is not to use the verbatim is because there's a lot of times we do things like and we stutter and we do that, but there are times where there's a lot of crosstalk. And like at the last meeting when you and Trustee Donnersberger were talking about the fences, Trustee Donnersberger came up with, when you were discussing it, there was 3 points of concern she had. We responded to the 3 points. If you look at the meeting minutes in here, I basically had condensed Trustee Donnersberger's 3 points into one paragraph, your responses into one paragraph, and then Gavin and I, when we were answering things, into another paragraph or and a half or something like that. It makes it clearer, more clear, more concise to read, easier to follow along, more linear in nature. So it's not verbatim, but it actually provides a bit of a clearer picture of what goes on with it.
As
Now,
long as we're covered legally, I'm fine.
and I'll
Let it
make
go.
I'll make one more point on this, and this is what I don't know, and I'm not going to ask counsel on this tonight. But what I know for the meeting minutes is that I have to keep meeting minutes. We have to keep meeting minutes forever. You can never destroy them. They must exist forever and ever and ever and ever. I do not know if that includes a video, because right now our videos are hosted on YouTube. They are not hosted on our own server, if I remember correctly. So if for some reason YouTube decides to not like us anymore, we would lose all that videos. We actually lost one meeting of the Shed and Fence Committee because it was on Vimeo, and we got rid of Vimeo, and it no longer exists. I actually found recently and stored somewhere the Vimeo password and login, so I'm trying to get back to that. But so that's the concern that I have. Whereas these meeting minutes they're in a document file, but at the end of the year we print them out, we put them in a big old binder, and they exist until 100 years from now, until we all do no longer care about them.
My
So-
concern is that as a government entity, there seem to be a lot more important priorities. Not that the minutes are not. It seems like we're complicating the process. Yes, clear out the ums and the whatever. It's more clear. To me, the tape would be the tape. The minutes would be the minutes for anyone to interpret it however they would want, rather than Andres or who was ever sitting in that chair in 10 years interprets it, clears it up, puts his spin on it, attributes this to that, the other thing. In my opinion, I think that's your time that could be spent doing many other things, and Gavin's time. I didn't realize you were reviewing them and you're reviewing them. Sounds like it takes a lot more than a couple hours. And keeping that in mind, I'm going to be quiet right now.
Thank you, Clerk, for your explanation of the process, because I don't think there was possibly a detailed understanding of what a transcript file is from YouTube and how we use that in a language model. So we're using these tools, and other municipalities are using these tools. We are not unique in using these tools for creating minutes. So if you go and see the trustees at Burr Ridge or LaGrange or Countryside, they are also using LLMs to create their minutes. So we are not going out on some island ourselves. We are trying to do best practices. We have told the staff we want to be as operationally as efficient as we can, and that's what we're doing. And we learn about these things from talking to other people about best practices. So if we have to tweak it, right now I think we should give Andres the respect of what he would like to do moving forward, and that's what he just said. Jim, I understand your point, but I think let's go with what we've been doing. If there's something that you feel strongly about, let's do what you did tonight. You brought it up to our attention, and we had the discussion. So I think there's a better understanding of the process. We're going to move along the way that we just discussed with clerk, and then we'll move forward with that. And if there's something that needs to change, if you would all like to understand how to use these LLMs, we will have a class on it and show you. It is extremely helpful. So we can talk about that at a different time. So does that work for you, clerk?
It does. I was going to offer, if you want to see the process, feel free to ask. I'll come in. You can come in. I'll show you how to do it, how I do it, and you can see how the process goes with it and how we clean everything up.
So we'll need to do a roll call vote on the acceptance of these minutes. So can we please have a roll call vote for the acceptance of these minutes, and then we'll move on to item B. So please, clerk, vote please.
Trustee Iannacco?
Aye.
Trustee Saldana,
Aye.
Trustee Eck,
No.
Trustee Donnersberger,
Aye.
Trustee Gazus.
Aye.
Alrighty, moving on to the other item that trustee Eck wanted to discuss. I think we have did we have a motion to approve the, can I have a motion, please?
Move to approve payables for the period ending July 31st.
Can I have a second, please?
Second?
Okay, thank you, trustee Eck and trustee Gazus. Discussion, trustee Eck on the
Yes,
approval of
a
payables.
couple things. In previous times, we had the opportunity to look at invoices if we asked for them. And as a previous signer, and I've signed checks for a couple of years, we would get a chance to look at the invoices, and that would make a difference to us. If you look at page 51 of 87, you'll see under Thomas Engineering, there's 3 amounts there. That was 8625, and that was included in the July 11th request for checks. And we discussed this last time, so this is kind of old news, but they had, staff had put in an invoice for $221,000 for Chicago paving, and it shouldn't have been to Thomas Engineering. And what we're getting in the way of information does not allow us to make those kind of determinations as to whether they are correct or not. As it turns out, this would have been a relatively minor item because they would have been able to place it, and we moved it to, we moved the check to Chicago Paving, and we had a separate check for that. But by not having the opportunity to have invoices, this is something that we miss the opportunity to see on various items. And I requested that, and I have not gotten the invoices that I requested or the opportunity to.
So what did we
to
discuss
view
last time?
them.
What did we discuss last meeting when you brought that to our attention? What did we discuss?
I don't recall. What's your recollection on that?
We discussed that we are moving to a new system.
Yeah?
The check invoice register you saw was from the old system.
Yep.
We told you and the entire board that we are moving to a new system that is going to streamline the approvals of how we approve invoices in the village. So,
It actually isn't, because unless you're ignoring something, and you're ignoring something by doing this in the way that you're talking about it, because we would not catch the kind of item that I just brought to your attention for being able to clear that.
So-
So all we're getting is we're just getting.
Charlie, one second.
Here's who we should pay, and this is what we're
Charlie,
paying.
I'm going through the process that you told me you didn't remember from 2 months ago.
Got it.
Can I interject here?
Please?
I think that, Charlie, with all due respect, I think you've got 2 hats on here. One is head of the Finance Committee, and indeed, it's probably your responsibility to make sure that all the invoices are correct and whatnot. As a board, from what Gavin helped me understand today, when we see these, we are confident, we can be confident, that the approvals have already been made, i.e., with the Finance Board and the other safeguards we put in place. So it seems to me it's not the board's place to look at that. We can question what a specific, I had a couple of questions about, well, what is this? But I have to, and my fiduciary duty is to make sure that these are correct. And if they come to us, council, I'm leaning on you today, what I've been told is if we approve these, I'm approving them with the knowledge that they have been looked at and verified and are true and accurate.
You are
And that
relying on-
fulfills my fiduciary duty.
You are relying on the representation of staff that presumably you have trust in
Okay.
and have participated in the appointment of and review of their performance.
And Charlie, what you're interested in is in your role as finance director.
With all due respect, we have a process that we have delineated. Our village staff has delineated the process the last meeting. The last meeting and in the Finance Committee, on 2 separate occasions, we delineated a new process to the Finance Committee that talked about how we're using the new system to be able to approve, our staff approve in BSNA. Our department heads will approve an invoice in BSNA. Then we have a village administrator and we have an accounting director of finance that will also look at the invoice and approve it to go on to the next stage in the process. If you are seeing the invoice report in your board packet, the new board packet, the new report, the invoice would not get to the invoice report if it had not passed the approval of our department heads, our village administrator, our finance director. So we are paying a $500,000, this village, to provide oversight and professional management. And that's the tool we are using to have them approve the invoices that they are telling you in the invoice report what the invoices are. So what you're telling me is that all of the time and money we have spent on oversight for our professionals, now you are questioning that they're not going to catch these things, but that you will.
They didn't catch it before.
That's because it was a different
No, it wasn't.
process.
I'd
Yes, it
actually-
was.
Bill was in there.
The invoice
I would actually
process
like
here
to-
is
It was
different.
approved by management, and it was in the
Charlie,
list.
I will,
This-
let me
this
address
report is a
that
different
one
system.
specific payment going through and talk about how our new system will actually prevent that from happening.
Thank you.
The bills list includes everything that you need, everything that is on the invoice. So that would be the vendor name, the invoice number, the amount, a brief description of what the payment is for, and the account code that it's being charged to, the general ledger account code.
It's right here. And
And
I just
that's-
want to make sure this is very clear, so we can see this in 2 months, or in a month again, and understand. This is the new report. The report you referenced was from the old accounting system.
And what's on the new report that was not on the old report? Anything?
So
The way they
Nothing.
approve the invoices
It's all the
is
same.
different.
let me get back to what I was explaining. So everything that comes from the invoice is on that bills list. When Joanna, who is our accountant, is entering everything from the invoice into the BS&A system, she would know that the vendor name on that, for example, with that payment. So let me take a step back. Thomas Engineering sent us an invoice that included the payment to Chicago Paving Incorporated. So that payment, everything that was approved by staff and approved by by myself and then brought to the board and to cut a check was for Chicagoland Paving. She saw that payment was included in an invoice from Thomas and put the check to Thomas. Thomas would have forwarded that check to Chicago Land Paving. But with this new system, she would have entered the vendor name as Chicagoland Paving because that's who it was for. An example on tonight's bills list that was questioned was the payment for Strand. When Strand submits a payment, they're also another engineering firm. When they submit an invoice, it includes, for Wolf Road Phase 1 specifically, it will include payments that go to RM Chen. RM Chen, another engineering firm that I can't remember the name of, but there are several organizations that are subcontractors for Strand. It's just like that with Chicagoland Paving's relationship with Thomas Engineering. They are a subcontractor who, the board approved to do the work for our road program. That check would have been caught at that point. Or that payment would have been caught at that point. Everything on to your question that you had, Eileen, about fiduciary responsibility, everything that is on that bills list is enough information to meet your fiduciary obligation. And then I repeated in my email to you today what the process that we had talked about previously with those meeting weeks and those non-meeting weeks. And, you could look at a payment and question any payment that's on the bills list based on the information that's there. Get back to myself or the finance director, Brandy Asbill, and we'll be able to respond to those questions. And I did that with a few questions that we had for tonight. And what we will do is send all of the information to all of the board in case you also have the same question.
So didn't we agree last meeting that we were all going to be looking at these and all proving them on the board
Yes, and to that point, to Trustee Eck's point, we are going to make all of the invoices available for you to review. They will be in BSNA, and we are working towards a process where as many payments as possible will be in electronic form. So there won't be any paper invoices. We will have all of those in the BSNA system. We will provide you with access to view invoices. You can dig down as much as you like, and you can send us any questions you have or any concerns you have.
Good,
And
that's good. I'm fine now.
What about
And-
ACH and ETF?
it will be in there.
No, I know, but there's not going to be an invoice.
We'll have electronic invoices because we need to
Right.
be able to show that we paid it because we got a bill.
But I just want that to be understood.
Okay.
So there's going to be ACH and ETF that will be, now we have several
Right.
hundred that we're not going to have paper invoices for. So we've also had discussions about
Yeah.
ACH and ETF where you didn't see it and then you questioned it. So we are going to digital payments for those vendors.
And we will still have,
Questioned it recently.
Okay.
So that was in an earlier time.
Correct, but I just want to make sure, because we have questions about what we just discussed 2 months ago, I want to make sure everybody understands, we are now all looking this as a board because we have a fiduciary responsibility to all approve it, not just to have 2 people approving it. And it's, to your point too, Eileen, it's not the finance committee that's looking at this, it's the board's responsibility.
Oh, yeah.
It's the board, it's not the finance committee. They're doing budgeting, they're doing best practices regarding our village and the process in which we create budgeting and financial planning, and how we are managing our processes. The board's responsibility is to provide the oversight that you were speaking about, Eileen.
One last
So
question?
now I'm confused, because, I mean, if it's our fiduciary duty to take a good look at that and oversight, I would expect more information. What I'm looking at are the overall costs that we're approving and where it's going to, and if I have questions, is it going to this contractor or, that electric company? If I have questions about that, I can ask, but I'm relying upon, as council, I think, just advises us, I'm relying upon the due diligence that staff has already done.
Correct.
I do, a couple of more points. It is highly unusual for a board to get to the level of reviewing individual invoices. That is not typical practice. It's not, it's very unusual. And this is based on my experience in 25-plus years of local government. It's based on experience Andres brings to the table. Our finance director and the finance team from Lauterbach Amen has not seen it commonly. BSNA putting it in. Our consultant who's working directly with us has done implementations with 21 other clients, never seen any requests for the board to have access, but we're going to provide that access electronically through BSNA. We'll train you all on how to access it, but we're not going to, we're going to send out the bills list as we talked about previously. We're going to poll the board, or you're going to vote on it at the board meeting, and we're going to send the checks. And all of this is designed to create a more efficient system and get our payments to our vendors on time and in a timely manner, which is very important. So.
One last question. Whose name is on the checks?
The signatures are the village president and the village treasurer, which is myself and Amy Jo Wittenberg.
Thank you. I'm okay now.
And does everybody understand that we're going to a different check process as well, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So are there any other questions before we have a vote, a roll call vote from our clerk?
I just want to say the minutes of this meeting are going to be very long.
All righty. Hearing none, can we please have a roll call vote, please, for the financial report?
Trustee Iannacco.
Aye.
Trustee Saldana.
Aye.
Trustee Eck.
Aye.
Trustee Donnersberger.
Aye.
Trustee Gaddis.
Aye.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Now, let's move on to item B of new business. Can I have a motion, please?
Move to approve Resolution 2025-24, which adopts the Parks and Facilities Use Policy.
Second?
Gavin?
So this came out of, I got a rash of requests to use the park, the gazebo here at Blackhawk Park, and I felt like I didn't know what we had done in the past. I looked into it, and it was kind of seemed random. So I wanted to have a policy that I can look to when somebody makes a request like that and say, okay, here's our policy. Yes, this is allowed. Here's our policy. I'll make sure that there's no events interfering with this. I'm a person who likes to have a policy. So this is my recommended policy.
Can I make a comment?
Yes,
Once
ma'am.
we approve this, can it be put on the website for everybody to see and promoted on the social media so people know that this is now the policy?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any questions on the policy that's before you? Hearing none, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Iannacco,
Aye.
Trustee Saldana,
Aye.
Trustee Eck,
Aye.
Trustee Donnersberger, Trustee Gazzas.
Aye.
Follow-up question, this says no alcohol, is that right?
Unless the board approves a liquor license for a
So
special
you
event.
come back special for that?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Moving on to item C, please. Can we have a motion, please?
Move approval of Resolution 2025-25, which adopts a memorial trees and benches policy.
I
Second?
second.
Basically, it's the same thing as before, so I'll keep it short for the minutes. And I wanted to have a policy so that I have something to lean on when somebody makes a request. I had gotten a couple of requests for, can I put a tree in the park? Can I put a bench in the park? And as you know, there have been other issues involving benches recently. So this is a policy that will standardize our program for memorial benches and trees. And our intern, who I'll introduce more fully in a little while, has started to put together some documentation of what our standard bench is going to be and how our standard plaque will be set up. So we'll be putting out, to your point, Trustee Saldana, we'll be putting out a lot of public information about this program.
Hey, Gavin, my only question, when you say standardized, that means one type of bench, one type of plaque, that's it? Thank you.
Yes.
Is there an application process?
There will be an application process, yes. And our public works staff will work with the person to make sure that the bench or the tree is properly placed in an appropriate place. And those things, this will be a donation to the village for this purpose. So the tree, the bench will be the village's tree and the village's bench. And we will be responsible for the upkeep of those.
Will we be installing them?
Yes.
Any other questions on this policy? Hearing none, can we please have a roll call vote?
Trustee Iannacco,
Aye.
Trustee Saldana,
Aye.
Trustee Gazzas,
Aye.
Trustee Eck,
Aye.
Trustee Donnersberger. My apologies, I was reading something at the same time.
All righty, moving right along to item D, please. Can we have a motion?
Move to approve Resolution 2025-26, adopting board meeting rules.
I second.
Thank you, Trustee Saldana and Trustee Iannacco.
This-
Why are these necessary?
Why is what necessary?
Pardon me?
Board rules. So the thinking here was, and we discussed this at the committee of the whole meeting, the thinking was if we ever want to particularly with the public comment section guidelines, if we ever want to, if the board ever wants to put boundaries around discussion during the public hearing or a public meeting, you have to have published some rules around that. So it started with the public comment policy, and then I feel like one of the very first meetings that I came to, board rules were discussed in 2023 when I started here 2 years ago. I feel like that was, I know that was something that the board had discussed and wanted some rules, but it took me a couple of years to get around to proposing some.
I had a comment before when we were first reviewing these, and so I'm gonna make a motion to amend these to include where this says debate. Members must be recognized before speaking. Remember I said by the chair? Same for remarks must be confined to the matter under, well, no, that's not it, I'm sorry. No member shall speak more than twice on the same question without permission from the chair. Those were the comments I made before. It has to be clarified, because otherwise anyone can give himself or herself permission to continue speaking.
I have a question. So to be recognized by the chair, what do we do?
Madam Chair? And then she
Nobody sees me. I mean,
Sorry.
No, you can
Madam
say-
Chair, I want to talk. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And-
we're a small group. I mean, that's fine with me, but we're a small group and informal, and we get things done, so
Yeah, but it's to maintain the quorum.
we have good quorum.
Will the
Mostly.
board accept that as a friendly amendment? We can make that amendment.
Thank you.
Gavin, my only question on this, does the public have to disclose what their comment is going to be or their question is going to be prior?
I don't believe so, no.
Is there a time limit?
3 minutes. Yeah, I didn't know if they had to sign in. I didn't know if part of the sign-in was to list the question they may or may not have.
Doesn't say 3
We've
minutes.
discussed this, and I think the clerk has an
Says
answer.
3 minutes?
So they don't have to sign in, nor do they have to put on the topic. The reason that we put topic there is because if someone wishes to speak on a topic, if you noticed on the order of business, public comments near the end, if there is something that they wish to speak on earlier, if they do put that in there, and I look at it and I recognize it, it could be up to the chair of running the meeting, the president, or whoever is running the meeting, to ask if they want public comment on that topic. So that's why we put that in there. But under OMA, we can ask for their name and nothing else. We can't even infer. Like a lot of places, people want to ask for, like, oh, where do you live? What's your address? We can't ask for that. We can't infer that. We can't make an idea of that. Like, oh, well, it might be helpful. We can't do any of that because it would, as the PAC has said, who does all this, it has a freezing effect on public doctrine. So
just as a
Thanks for
comment,
clarification.
the public will have a chance to speak as long as it's germane to something that has been discussed or will be discussed that day. But when the public comes up, in my experience, they get used to saying, I'm here to speak about this item, and usually people just do it on their own. And if they start speaking without saying why they're here, and it turns that it's absolutely not germane to that day's agenda, the chair now has an opportunity to say, I'm sorry, but this is not an item we discussed today. If the person gets belligerent, et cetera, there's rules for that, and they can be asked to stop speaking and remove themselves. So that's the advantage of this. We don't have to ask them up front, what are you here for? If they are here speaking about why the birds fly, they're just wasting our time, and we ask them to move along, unless we're discussing birds that day.
I was going to say, just kind of to the dovetail on that, I have seen in the past where there is two sections of public comment, but one section of public comment just says, public comment on items on the agenda, and then the other one has been public comment, which is basically just whatever the public feels like coming and talk about, whether it be birds or airplanes or whatever. They get their 3 minutes to talk about whether they think the grass is the wrong color or something, and then you nod and move along. Yeah.
So Andres, you mentioned that you thought, in my experience, we've always asked people that come up to name and address so they are of the community, but you're saying that we should not do that.
That's not required.
Not required, or we shouldn't do it?
I've heard we shouldn't.
That's illegal.
Right, I've
Yeah.
heard we shouldn't be doing
We
that.
shouldn't be doing that.
what
Just to
I'm-
clarify, because even at Planning and Zoning Commission, I think,
There's a
Mrs. Govich,
difference between asking and requiring. So if there's a box that says, would you like to provide information on what you're going to speak about, they're at liberty to fill that in or not. So as long as it's permissive, as long as there's an understanding that you can supply the information if you need to, but if you choose not to, you don't, that's fine. One of the other communities I represent, the rules provide that if you don't want to provide your name to be called on, describe an article of clothing you're wearing so that the chair knows who to pick when the time's up, so.
well, counsel, for that, theoretically, you could have public comments if we're not asking them who they are, we're not supposed to, or if they're in the community. Burr Ridge could just pack this house and just have public comments about Indian Head Park, and we could do the same, in theory. Not that anybody would do that, but
Please don't.
It's an interesting way to spend a Thursday evening, but
And the minutes will show that.
But that's one of the other things that other communities might do is cap the total amount of public comment time to 30 minutes, for example. And that will generally discourage filibusters and encourage people to share their time and use it more effectively.
Another rule I've seen before too is they ask you not to repeat something someone else has already said. If you don't like a warehouse because you think it's going to be too noisy, you know, they don't want 15 people coming up and saying, the chair has said before, in plan commissions, you know, is anybody else here going to come complain about how noisy it is? And 15 people raise their hand. They say, okay, well, we'd ask you not to come up. We just note that there's 15 of you that's their objection.
Yeah, I mean, even just allowing, when members of the public hear that their concerns have been heard and understood, even if they don't have to voice them personally, that sometimes suffices.
So did I hear there's 2 edits? Eileen had an edit, I believe, that
I did? No.
about Madam?
Christina.
Oh, just Christina? Okay. I thought it was about being recognized to speak.
I'll just lean over,
Okay.
send up a balloon.
We're adding by the chair for 5I and 5.3.
Do you have that? Okay. If we all agree on that edit, can we please have a roll call vote with an edit?
I like that. Thank you.
Is that a,
roll calls. I like that.
oh, is that what,
I don't think it says no more
Well, no more roll calls unless it's required
okay.
or requested.
or requested. I like that.
So can we have a roll call vote with the anticipated,
We don't have the new rules yet, so.
we anticipated edit that Christina, trustee Saldana is suggesting, please?
This is just on the edit?
Approve as amended. No, we have.
Approves as amended, right?
Well, I think the board adopted, I think you asked whether or not the board would accept it as a friendly amendment.
Yes, I did.
Consent. So I think at this point, that amendment is already engrossed into
So
the
approve
rules.
as amended.
All righty, so we're going to approve as amended. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Iannaco,
Aye.
Trustee Saldana,
Aye.
Trustee Eck,
Aye.
Trustee Donnersberger,
Aye.
Trustee Gaddis.
Aye.
Great, thank you. Could we please move on to item E? Have a motion,
Move to
please.
approve Resolution 2025-27, the Oslad Sacagawea Park project, whatever. 'Cause
I
he-
second.
Now it is my pleasure to introduce Brandon Fleischer, our new administrative intern from Northern Illinois University Master of Public Administration program.
Welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Brandon's in his second week with the village, and he's already jumped in, feet first, head first, I'm not sure which. But he's got a lot of energy and enthusiasm. He's working on several projects already. Brandon's background, real quick, he's got prior experience from South Rock Island Township and the city of Moline, where he worked on community outreach, senior programming, and research initiatives focused on social isolation. His early contributions here have already proved invaluable, so we've got 2 years worth of that, and I'm looking forward to it. One project he's involved in is in taking a big role in is our application for the OSLAD grant program, and that's the Open Space Land Acquisition and Development Grant, which is administered by the Illinois Department of Natural Resources. And the way this grant works, it's a matching program, and it will support, in our case specifically, a redesign and redevelopment of Sacagawea Park, and which we see as a good opportunity to enhance our parks here in the community while maximizing outside funding and minimizing local tax impact. Brandon's going to speak to you a bit about this in more detail and talk a little bit about the meeting that we had last night, the first of 2 public meetings on this project.
Hello, everyone. So yeah, kind of what Gavin was saying is we had a meeting last night with the residents and the guy that we're consulting with from Planners Resources Inc. Planning Resources Inc. His name is Daryl, and he came up with a 3D, I don't know how I would say, a rendering of what the park would look like, and the reason we're working with them is to submit this OSLAD grant, there's a lot of things that we need to have, such as we need to make sure the park has accessibility for a lot of people. We need to make sure that it is meeting other INDR requirements. And so working with Daryl from Planning Resources, Inc., their company has a 96% rate of success when working with local governments for this grant. So what we're trying to do tonight is get a formal resolution of authorization as per required in the OSLAD application. What this means is we're committing to provide sufficient local matching funding. As Gavin mentioned, the OSLAD grant does 50-50, and so the total budget of this project would be $600,000. With the OSLAD, they would put in $300,000 if we get it all, and we would do the rest. One of the other requirements for this is we need to have commitment to completing the project within 2 years. That 2 years starts after we sign the contract, which wouldn't happen until April, according to Daryl, or he estimates April is when the final contract would be signed. Yeah. Are there any questions?
For Gavin, so we would put the $300,000 in our budget coming in?
Yes.
Okay.
And we do have enough funds in our capital improvement fund for that.
I have a question. Do I have to amend my motion? Because it wasn't actually clarified what is it that we're approving. We should move to approve Resolution 2025-27, authorizing the village president to execute the OSLAD grant program resolution for authorization.
Second that.
I think the pending motion is okay with clarification.
Thank you
The
for the
clerk, okay.
clarification. Thank you.
Well, just in case, because I see. Thank you.
Yeah, I say that. Thank you. Did you have a question? Did anybody have a question on the OSLAD project or the process?
Just a question on the completion. So it's 2 years from the day we signed the agreement?
Yeah.
And was there a buffer based on if we can't get materials, weather, or anything like that?
Yes, so there, or do you want to? I believe it is a 1 year buffer
Extension.
period.
Extension, okay. So if something happens right now, we couldn't get materials to finish the project, there's an extension that 2 years isn't a hard number.
Yes, but we would have to let the Illinois Department of Natural Resources, let them know within 45 days of signing the contract.
Okay.
And I will also say that if something changes, our financial position changes, if we totally change direction, we can withdraw from this program. The penalty is we can't apply again for an OSLAD grant for 2 more years.
Any other questions about the OSLAD process or the park?
One thing I did want to mention is we will be having another public meeting September 4th for the second meeting with this that is required.
Great. Can we please have a roll call vote for this? Clerk?
Trustee Iannacco,
Aye.
Trustee Saldana,
Aye.
Trustee Eck,
Aye.
Trustee Donnersberger,
Aye.
Trustee Gazzis.
I,
Great, thank you. Can I please have a motion for item F, please?
Okay, I move to approve ordinance 2025-13, setting the date, time, and location for the public hearing on the proposed Triangle Area Business Development District.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Trustee Saldana and Trustee Eck. Gavin?
I'd like to hand this off to our community development specialist, director. Aye.
Thank you. So this is to establish the public hearing at the September 11th meeting for the Business Development District. This is only referencing the Business Development District, and it's not asking you to approve anything now. It's just asking you to set the meeting. Similar to the OSLAD grant, we have to have 2 public notices out, not public hearings, but public notices out in the papers in a certain time frame. So the other important thing is that we want to have this at the September 11th meeting because at the September 11th meeting, if you have the public hearing and then the board does vote to approve it, we have to get it to the Illinois Department of Revenue by October 1st, because when we get because this is a sales tax, so we get to them by October 1st, then it starts getting collected on January 1st, and then it'll get its first collection on April 1st. So that's the important time frame. If we miss that time frame, collection doesn't start till July 1st. So once again, this is setting the public hearing for the business district. It's not establishing anything at the moment. I'll take any questions.
said we had to have 2 public hearings?
Public notices. So
Public
we have to post in the paper twice.
So if you approve this tonight, the first notice, we will send it to the paper tomorrow, and it'll be published on August 22nd, and the second notice will be published on August 29th. And those are notices of a public hearing that will take place on September 11th at the board meeting.
Is there any time limit on how quick you can put those 2 notices? Does that allow enough time?
There is, and it is within the time frame. I think it's 15 days and 30 days, 30 days and 15 days before the hearing.
Yeah, there's a certain time frame of it. Did you mean like how fast we can get them in the paper?
No,
Okay.
well, so if you're gonna put the first notice out tomorrow, is it enough time notice for 7 or 10 days later? Is that, for both notices, does it matter?
This is the consultant who does this for a living.
Okay.
Tells us this. There's a time frame.
Works for me.
I did have a question about outreach to the business owners, meaning the owners of the parcels. So is there normally some kind of a process that they sort of understand what's going on?
It depends. It's not required, but it tends to be good practice. And we have been reaching out informally. In the triangle, this is only a sales and retail one. So any service industries over there aren't getting this extra tax because Illinois doesn't tax services. So you're really looking at 5 or 6 businesses out there. So Wolf's Head,
Okay.
Oak Pantry, which is kind of the biggest one, Guy Blando.
So it's just those in that area?
Yeah, and
It's not all of them, it's just that area?
it is anybody in that area that is currently subject to the retail tax. So it's like I said, about those 5 businesses.
So does the consultant think that we should do a formal letter to them to be
Well.
Make sure they know what's going on?
We haven't spoken to them before. In my previous experience, we can send a formal letter, but a lot of times it's these informal relationships that go on with these types of things. I've already spoken to Ari about it. I went in to get pizza one time, and she was relatively free, so I spoke to
Because
her
I just
about
want to
it.
make sure they sort of,
Yeah.
I don't know what Eileen thinks in the Economic Development Committee, but I think that we need to be sensitive that, they sometimes feel like they don't know what's going on, and I think we need to maybe sometimes over-communicate, so I
And
don't know
we're
the best
meeting,
way to do
we're
that.
meeting next Tuesday,
Mhm.
and the members of the committee have relationships already with the businesses up there.
Very
So
good
why
ones,
don't
yeah.
we talk about it at the meeting on Tuesday, and we can plan to reach out. I think that's
What's
great
the
idea.
harm in,
Yeah.
again, going with Mayor Amy Jo's? I mean, what's the harm with kind of officially notifying them that this is
Yeah.
happening? Because, again, they'll come back, I mean,
They'll go,
people's
we didn't know
memory-
what's going on, what are you
We
taxing,
never know what's
what are you
going
putting
on,
this on
and that. I
my?
mean, even if it's a chat GPT, just 30-second.
And then how does it appear on the actual register receipt? So does it say local tax? Does it say, what does it actually say? Like in Burr Ridge, they have a business development district. I haven't looked at my eating receipt, but does it say anything?
I don't believe so. I've not ever seen that, because you don't, when
They
you
just
go.
add it and
Yeah, it
it's
just go,
there?
like when you go to, Walgreens or something, do you see all the different taxes that, it doesn't break out the county,
Okay.
and then
Right,
it doesn't break all these things out.
Okay.
It just says, here's the total tax on it,
Okay,
which is good because half the time people don't look at what the actual full tax is.
okay. Thank you for that. And then Eileen, you'll let Andres and Gavin know what the committee wants to do as far as outreach and all of that?
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
You guys will work together, just so,
I believe Trustee Donnersberger said we'll talk about it on the Tuesday EDC meeting, so.
Okay,
I'll be out
perfect.
there.
thank you. All righty, any other questions on this? Item F? Hearing none, can we please have a roll call vote?
Trustee Iannacco,
Aye.
Trustee Saldana,
Aye.
Trustee Eck,
Aye.
Trustee Donnersberger,
Aye.
Trustee Gaddis.
I,
Moving on to public comments. Do we have any public comments this evening? Yeah. No.
I'm Amy, and I'm wearing a tan shirt. I won't give you my address, though. Question on what you guys talked about here about, like, only speaking to what's on the agenda. I've been to a lot of meetings where people come here to bring up issues that might not be on the agenda. So are those all going to be, we can't do that now?
Can I speak to that? So it just gives the chair the opportunity to stop someone from talking about something that is absolutely inappropriate.
Okay,
And so it's the call of the chair.
okay.
If what you're speaking about is germane to businesses of the Indian Head Park.
So basically, then, Christina, the way I'm reading it is, you would expect a member of the audience to come up and say, I would like to address this issue. And then the chair can determine whether or not I would be no.
Or they could just start, and if it's fine, then we just go ahead, and
Okay.
unless they go on for,
More
unless
than
something
3
gets
minutes?
inappropriate, then we'll
Okay.
We'll use the policy.
I wanted to clarify that because, and I'm guilty of coming to the board meetings and bringing up issues. So just wanted to make sure I was still able to do that.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Thank you for bringing that up. Any other public comments?
Hi, my name's Kenneth Miller, and I'm very happy to hear that the board enjoys having policies because it seems to be a highlight with what the board does. And I'd like to bring to the board's attention a policy with aggressive animals, especially dogs. I had an incident last Sunday where I was charged by an aggressive pit bull. The pit bull, I was walking by in Arcacia. on the sidewalk, and this pit bull charged me. The owner seemed to have difficulty having control over the dog. The dog did not attack me, but he lunged at me, and I really feared for my life. He scared me to death. I filed a report at the police department with community relations officer. And I was really shocked to hear that there really is no policy with aggressive animals. The officer told me that since I wasn't bitten or mauled or touched by the dog, there really wasn't much that he could do. I suggested that at least contact the owner and give them a warning that they have to have control over the animal and they have to be responsible. He was very reluctant to do that. He was telling me that the police don't weaponize the public, and he was very apprehensive, and he didn't seem to be overly cooperative with my suggestion. And then he did issue a report. I have a copy. And in the report, he said he did speak to the owner. And the owner gave an excuse that the leash or the retractable leash didn't function properly, and they were made aware of it. So what I'm requesting from the board is to establish some kind of policy where if these events happen with me and other people, especially if we're not physically attacked, that community relations can contact the owner and just put them on warning, or just give them a warning notice. He also indicated that if he did that, the owner might feel embarrassed because the neighbors would see this. And I think that was really an inappropriate response. So I'm requesting to the board that we establish a policy to at least inform the owners and put them on a warning notice if this should happen. And I think it's very reasonable because I think we should be proactive in protecting the public. And I think the board should address it and put the policy on the website. If I can assist in any way or working with community relations, I'd be happy to. But I don't know if that's my position to do that. So I'm asking the board to consider that and to look seriously at this matter and see if we can resolve it in a proactive way and more in an educational way.
Well, thank you.
Okay, good. My second request is to get an update on the Wolf Road project between Plainfield Road and Joliet Road. I know there's discussion, but I don't know if there's any final outcome with the what the county is planning to do, if they're going to widen the road in that area, if they're going to put sidewalks in. Has there been any final, or what's the latest update?
So there's a website, wolfroadstudy.com, that you should definitely go to, and you can see that there has been a lot of conversations. In fact, I didn't do it tonight, but every other month I've done an update on Wolf Road. So we did make a determination, and we did pick a baseline alternative for Wolf Road, and it's all on the website, the wolfroadstudy.com. It has all of the maps. It has all of the current information on what is going on with the Wolf Road project. Is from Plainfield to 72nd Street. So it's actually all the way down to 72nd. So all of the information is there. If you need any assistance when you do go to the website, you can email the study team at info@wolfroadstudy.com, or you can contact one of us and we will answer any questions that you have.
Great, thank you.
So there's a volume of presentations, there's videos of all the meetings that we've had. The December 11th meeting was very insightful, but you can see all of that online.
Terrific, thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Did we receive any on email, Andres? Okay, thank you. All right, now we'll move to reports. Trustees, Trustee Gazis, do you have a report?
Planning and zoning did meet, and we are off and running on the fence discussion.
Eileen?
Is meeting Tuesday, and I have to say that the members of that committee are they're thrilled that we're moving forward with the redevelopment plan, and fingers crossed it'll all come to fruition, because they've worked very, very hard on it. I'd like to give them credit for what they've done. Heritage Committee, I'm meeting with Gavin tomorrow to look at the space over there to get some ideas of what might be done with it, and thank you, Amy, for sending me all those ideas. They're terrific in terms of themes for the area. So we're not going to meet until after we hear back from, who's the contractor?
He'll be meeting with us tomorrow.
Yeah, okay. When we hear
Daryl.
his ideas, then we'll be getting back together. Thank you.
Trustee Eck?
Yes, the Finance Committee is going to start working on the budget. Our meeting is going to be Monday, September 29th at 4:15. The public is welcome to join us.
Thank you. Christina?
No report?
Anthony?
No report.
Great. Department heads. Chief? Sorry. I think I surprised you.
Yeah, I was looking at the list, I'm about 5 away, I thought. We're gonna have the Labor Day IDOT Traffic Enforcement Grant. It's a voluntary, it's a sign-up, the state provides us funds to do these every year. It'll go from August 15th to September 2nd. At least 30% has to be for occupant restraint, which is seatbelt, but then we can also do the phone, the use of cell phone and other things as well. So that'll be going for the next couple of weeks, starting tomorrow. Union negotiations, we contacted our attorneys to start working on union negotiations because the contract ends in April. So I've been going through the contract a little bit. I'm going to meet with Gavin and other village members to go over this contract and see what we like and don't like, get the ball rolling, so hopefully we can get that resolved. Flock cameras, there was a discrepancy over who put the pole in. They were under the impression that we did, and we've never put a pole in for any of our cameras, so we told them put the pole in. They had a couple questions about placement, which I thought was taken care of, but we're going to make sure that it's taken care of and done. Met with Motorola. Motorola is talking about in-car and body-worn cameras. The in-car cameras and the body-worn cameras are outdated and old, and they're starting to fail. Commander Gardner's done a great job of keeping them up and running. And we're talking with, we're in negotiations with Motorola now because they gave us a quote. It'd be a 5-year warranty, but I have to trim it down and see what we really need. There's also, I met with members of Lexipol, which does our policy and procedure, but they also provide help with grants. They gave me a guide of what to look for because some of this money might be recoverable, but the grants aren't open yet. So there's certain things that I have to get done before it opens up so that I can get the grant in as soon as it does. National Night Out was a huge success. It really is, and Officer Verber does an excellent job. He spends a lot of time putting this together. But Public Works was great, and the support from the village was great as well. It was a really nice event, well attended. And then I've got a grant for $6,500 just approved today for organized retail theft crime grant. So we got $5,000 for overtime and $1,500, so $1,500 for tracking devices. So I've tasked Corporal Cassane with finding some good devices to put on these cars and different things so we can track them. We did have person of interest before staying at a hotel nearby, and if we'd have had these devices, it would have been very helpful. So we received this today. We're very excited about it. This will be from the date of the grant till next year, so we'll make sure 5,000, we can use that up pretty quick. So we're going to have to determine when's the best time to use it, but get these devices on vehicles if we can as well. And that's my report.
I have a question. Monday evening on Joliet Road from Gilbert to Plainfield, that had been blocked off by Countryside Police. And I'm just wondering if you can share anything as to what that was about.
Yeah, that was at Joliet Road. That was it was a violation of an order of protection. A Cook County Sheriff's Police officer was responded to that call. When the subject showed up, when the officer showed up, there was a subject. The offender was actively stabbing one of the victims and had already stabbed another one, at which time the officer fired upon the offender and struck the offender. So it was all blocked off so they could do proper investigation.
It was in Cook, it was on unincorporated Cook County. It was not in Countryside.
It wasn't?
No.
It's right near the PD though, so it's just the department buildings nearby.
Yeah. Andres?
Well, we've covered the business district tonight already briefly. Jim, thank you very much to bring up that we have also been starting to work on fences with the Planning and Zoning Commission. We are also, in deep with the zoning code update review that is continuing to go on. And the Planning Commission has seen that and has been able to give feedback if they so desired. We also have gotten the first draft of our building code updates back to us. We have sent those on to both Don Morris Architects, our building consultant, as well as Pleasant View Fire Protection District, as you know, it covers the fire code as well. So I'm waiting to hear back from either of them for comments they have on that as well. Otherwise, we are, let's see what else we're doing. We are knee-deep in BSNA changeovers, so we've had plenty of training on that. And we are starting to do that with the permit system, the business licensing systems, all the community development systems in there, as well as the front counter and utility billing and everything. My brain's a little bit mush from just 5 days of constant training on it. I will say that you will be seeing some changes to some processes for both business licensing and building permits, just because the way it was previously done, it doesn't exactly work in the new system. The new system is fantastic because we don't have, it's not all divided. So we have, if there's someone that has a utility bill and I go to put them in for a new permit and I don't have their name, it automatically pops up for them in the utility because it already has that record tied to that property. So it's good. There's just some tweaks that we're going to have to make on processes, but that's nothing new. I've issued a couple permits with it, and I've had to apologize because I had to wait extra time before we could do it. But I could tell you it was much simpler. It's cut down basically half the paperwork we have to do with it, so that's great.
That's great news. Thank you.
When you say extra time, you mean minutes, right?
Yes, I mean minutes.
No, I meant not very long, not days.
No, it is taking a little bit. So we are working on that. We are continuing working on that. Like I said, it is BSNA has a great reporting system out of it. So it's going to, for like Lyons Township reports that we do. Currently, it's very manual because we have to put that in the exact format they want us to, because then they have to upload all the buildings for building permits for Lyons Township has to go to Cook County and has to be in that exact format for Cook County system. And so, and building reports and these types of things all are, the reporting function is basically 2 clicks and it's good, versus, exporting to Excel and playing around with it. So, as time goes on, we'll get much better, much faster about it. But at this moment, we're week 2 into a changeover in the system on it. So, that's doing well. I believe that's everything I have. I was gone for a week. I went on vacation, so.
Good for you. Well, thank you. We're glad you're back. Thank you. Village Attorney.
No report.
And Village Treasurer and Village Administrator. Since you're both, we'll
No
turn it over
treasurer's,
to you.
no treasurer's report today, but I will, let me give the Public Works Director's report first. Joe couldn't be here tonight, but he sent his regards and some notes. The mechanical lift that the board approved has been installed. Bobby Hernandez, one of our Public Works maintenance workers, has obtained his certification in lift safety, and he will be working with the police department and with the Public Works Department's cars to put a maintenance schedule in place so that we're getting rolling on that. The pump house roof is scheduled to be done in September, and we're looking forward to getting that done. That's really the last thing on the building envelope for the pump house. We are still working on the transition to how we chlorinate the water. The tree and landscape meeting is scheduled for August 20th, and the items for discussion include the tree management plan with Thomas from Penn High Solutions presenting to them. We're also going to go over all the ordinance changes for the tree preservation ordinance with the committee, and that'll be coming back hopefully for the September board meeting. Excuse me. And there will be a tree planting program progress report. Storm sewer maintenance was performed in some trouble areas this past week via a jetting truck. He told me to feel free to brag on how well our system worked during the recent heavy rainfalls with minimal complaints and no major issues. Despite the large amount of rain, our system was back to normal by the end of the day. We have performed generator maintenance on the generator here at this building, the one at the pump house, and the one at Public Works. And we have also put in a new fancy flagpole at Public Works. There used to be a mosquito pond right in front of Public Works, rocks and water. It is now green and has a new flagpole, so we're proud of that, and we wanted to show it off. And then there was some stormwater sewer maintenance that was supposed to get done on Wednesday, but due to heavy rain in Ashbrook, but due to heavy rain Tuesday night, it got pushed back. And they will be out to take care of that as soon as the water levels come down. That's the Public Works report.
All right, now you can go on to your report.
And I was going to give a BSNA report, but now you can read it in the minutes in Andres's presentation. But I also wanted to let you know, since it came up in discussion, I will be presenting at the Illinois Municipal League Conference in September on the topic of small governments using artificial intelligence. So I'll be on a panel. I'm the one focused on small governments, in case you didn't know that. But I'll be on a panel with Normal Illinois, and they've got a whole bunch more staff working with AI and a whole bunch of more resources in general. But we'll both be talking about that, the use of artificial intelligence in local government. That's really all I had to report.
Hey, Gavin, what was the title of that presentation called?
Anything else that we missed from your side? You're good?
Yes, ma'am.
I
I'm
think
good.
we are at the time where I need a motion to go to closed session, right? Is that what I need to do? I haven't done this in a while.
Madam President, I think at this point it would be, I think you'd want to entertain a motion to move into executive session pursuant to Section 2C1 of the Open Meetings Act to discuss the appointment, employment, or compensation of any employee, and then thereafter adjourn with no further public business to be conducted.
That sounds great. Can I have a?
Hey, I move to enter into executive session pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2C1 of the Illinois Open Meetings Act to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the village, including the performance evaluation of the village administrator.
And then to adjourn thereafter with no further
And
business.
then to adjourn thereafter, or accept a motion to adjourn thereafter with no further business.
I second.
Great. Thank you, Trustee Saldana and Trustee Iannacco. Thank you. Executive session. Clerk, roll call.
Trustee Iannacco?
Aye, here.
Trustee Saldana?
Aye.
Trustee Eck?
Aye.
Trustee Donnersberger? Aye. Trustee Gazzis?
I
Thank you.